Hello, school bus driver candidates. The children in the school district where I drive know me as Mr. Chris. Our district school bus driver trainers frequently have us take our New York CDL Class B road test in Warsaw, New York. That's where I took the test, and I found it to be a disadvantage that I was completely unfamiliar with the area. I'd never been to Warsaw or driven around that town before, and I think it would have been better to feel somewhat familiar with the roads and streets I was being tested on. I found that certain aspects of the test route presented significant challenges for the uninitiated. So I drove my car around on a later date when my family was taking a day trip to Letchworth State Park, and we'd be in the neighborhood anyway. I videotaped the entire test route and even took some side shots with a second camera to show what some of the more challenging intersections look like from a driver's point of view. In this video, I'll share a description of the CDL license exam driving route using Google Maps satellite views and street views. Then I'll show the video of what it looks like to drive that route. This should help to make you feel more familiar with the test route, and hopefully you'll be more relaxed during your road test. I have to make a disclaimer here. I drove this test route 2 times during testing. 2 different examiners directed me to take the exact same route and instructed me to perform the exact same procedures. So you'll probably get the exact same thing, but maybe not. I actually have a lot of information to share with you, so let's get started. We'll start with a very quick overview of the test route. I've already laid out the route on the Google Maps satellite view we see on the screen. All the way on the bottom of the screen, we see the beginning of the blue line test route. The test route begins at the Wyoming County Highway Department facility on Route 19, about 4 miles or so south of Warsaw Village. In 5.5 miles approximately, you'll make your first right turn inside the village. At the top of the screen, you can see there's 2 loops to drive through in the village. I'll zoom in a bit to make the loops more clear. Basically, you're just driving around those 2 blocks, which are shown by the blue lined map route. So if you follow the mouse pointer, the 2 blocks that you're driving around will be here and here. After you've gone around those 2 loops, you'll head back down Route 19 back to the highway department. During driving around those blocks, the examiner will instruct you to perform certain school bus related tasks. They'll have you stop at one point and simulate picking up passengers. They'll also have you simulate a stop at a railroad crossing. There's no crossing there, just pretend there is. Now let's zoom in more and follow the test route in more detail. So I'll move back down to the beginning of the test route here. Zoom it in, like so. And we'll see, here's the Wyoming County Highway Department complex. And here's Route 19. You'll be coming south on Route 19 from Rochester and areas north, and turning right into the Monroe County Highway Department facility. Drive around, back, down here and around the loop, and then stop right here where this truck is. There's actually a sign here that tells you this is the point where you take your exam. I was there in August, and the examiner's car was parked in the shade under this tree, and they came out and greeted us at the bus. They're going to want to see your license and bus permit, CDL permit, and they'll want to see the registration and the insurance cards on the bus and look at the bus inspection sticker. If you look up here a bit, you see there's 3 rows of traffic cones. So that's where you do the maneuvers that you've been training on and practicing. You'll do your pre-trip inspections here, whatever they ask you to do, and then you'll do your driving maneuvers up here. After you've completed those, you'll be starting the road test portion of the test, so you'll be driving out this way, making a left-hand turn and driving north on Route 19. It's important to note that the speed limit here is 55 miles per hour. So you need to make sure you have a big enough opening to get to pull out into traffic and then get up to speed quickly, up to probably between 50 and 55. And then you're driving north along this route. So you just drive up the road here. There's hills and curves and ups and downs. Just driving along the road, Route 19 north, toward the village of Warsaw. Eventually you'll come upon this facility, and I'm going to actually go to the street view to show you what that looks like. And the reason for that is that there's a couple things going on here. One thing is the speed limit drops. You see the sign here. The speed limit reduces to 45 at this point. And you'll see here, along the front of this whole facility is a chain link fence. That's a pretty good landmark to look for to situate yourself. Then up here, the shoulder on the side of the road is paved. And that's not significant at this point in the trip, but on the way back, you'll be pulling over to secure the bus on the side of the road. That's part of the test. So let's continue on, heading north to the village of Warsaw. So there's a big landmark up here that lets you know when you're entering the village or when you're close to the village, and that is we're almost there. This large cemetery. There's a cemetery on both sides of the highway. And basically, I think the speed limit reduces before you reach the cemetery. So it's already 30 miles an hour at this point. Along the route, you need to watch for the speed limit signs and call them out. Okay, so now we're in the village on South Main. And when you get to East Buffalo Street, you'll be turning right. And then going 1 block and turning right onto Short Street. Now on Short Street, the examiner had me stop here on this corner near Short and Livingston Street and simulate picking up passengers. That's where he did it with me. After that, I turned right and proceeded to this intersection. The intersection of South Main and Livingston. There's important things to note here. So here, if you look at this black spot here on the map, that's actually a sign. And so we're going to go to Street View again so we can look at that. So we're approaching Main Street, South Main on Livingston. We're at the stop sign. And what do we have here? Well, first of all, this gas station is not a Wilson Farms anymore. It's a mobile station now. But that's not an important difference. The important thing here is that when you're sitting up in a school bus as high as you sit, and you're trying to see down the road here, this sign completely blocks your view. So you stop before the white line that's painted on the road, but you can't see anything. So you have to creep out gradually after the crosswalks are clear and so forth. So I couldn't creep out there with that, but you get the idea. You're creeping out until you can see clearly down the road, and you'll see that better on the videos that I'm going to show. When you're coming out to make your right-hand turn here, first of all, when you're going to stop at this painted white line on the road, stop as far away from this curb as you can. Just get as far over this way as you can without obstructing this lane too much. You want to give yourself room to make this curve. The other thing is, make sure you have enough time to be able to obstruct both lanes when you pull out. I made the mistake of not giving myself enough time and space to pull out when I pulled out, so I only came halfway out. I didn't encroach on that lane because there was a car on that lane. And because I had to make it so tight here, I actually rolled over the edge of that curb right there. And that was an automatic fail on the test. He didn't tell me that at the time. He let me complete the rest of the exam, which is good practice, but that was where I failed. So moving along here, you're pulling out onto South Main from Livingston, heading north, and it's a 2-lane street. You're going to normally be in the curb lane when you're driving, but up here, a couple blocks up, this street reduces to a single lane. So about down here, when you're 2 blocks away, start looking for an opening so you can merge left into the left-hand lane, because you want to be there when you hit this single lane. Now here's the traffic circle with the monument in the middle, and I'm going to drop this guy right here, of course facing the wrong direction, just so you can see there's no stop sign here, so you can proceed right through this, with caution, as long as everything's clear. Okay, as we continue heading north on 19, past the traffic circle, we come up to North Street, take a left onto North, and you'll go all the way to the end to Linwood. I'm going to go to Street View again to show you what that intersection looks like. There's this apartment building near the corner. And when you pull up there, stop before the corner, you can't see down here at all. Your view is completely obstructed by a phone pole, a sign, a tree, and farther down here, another tree. So you have to very carefully creep out so that you can see around all those obstructions. Looking over the other direction, it's a very clear view, no problem there. So you're going to take a left onto Linwood, proceed down Linwood, heading south. And then the next thing happens here. If I know where I am, here I am. You're going to simulate a railroad crossing when you come to this white fence. And the way the examiner described it, the train tracks are coming down this driveway, across the street, and up this driveway. So they're going straight across here. So you're going to follow your proper railroad crossing procedures. And I would say, because there's no white line here, you want to describe what you do when there's a white line and what you do when there's no white line. Then continue south, turn east on West Court Street, and then you're at the traffic circle again. We're going to take a look at that intersection, because when you're in a bus or a higher vehicle, it's difficult to see down here. There's this row of trees that really block your view. So it's kind of a tough intersection. I don't care if you're in a car or sitting up high in a bus. So just so you know, beware about that. And you're turning right and heading on, continuing now south on Main Street. South on North Main Street. And you'll continue straight on, right out of town, right out of the village. So you'll continue straight south. There's the cemetery. Continue south out of the village and get on the Route 19 all the way down to this complex. And this is where we'll go to Street View again, because this is where you're going to do the pull over and secure the bus procedure. And I got back up this far back because I wanted you to see that the speed limit here is 45. Here's the chain link fence along the side of the road. The chain link fence runs all along the front of that property. You can see the paved pullover area up here, and your examiner will instruct you to pull over there and secure the bus. Now, when I did that, there was a UPS truck right here parked on the shoulder. So I had a pretty tight turn in there, and I stopped and secured the bus, put it in neutral, set the parking brake, had the flashers on. Everything was fine there. But then there wasn't enough space for me to pull out because the truck was still in front of me. So I had to back up to the beginning of this pavement, this paved shoulder. And the instructor actually got up, went to the back of the bus, and guided me back, the examiner. And then I pulled out and proceeded down Route 19. And there's something else you need to notice here, that as soon as you leave that paved shoulder area, the speed limit goes to 55. So there's a speed limit change right there. So you need to get back up to 55 as quickly as you safely can. Now we're continuing down Route 19 back to the Highway Department complex. And when you pull in, you're turning right in, go around the back, go through that loop, and you'll end up stopping here. There might be another vehicle there, but you're going to stop over here to let the examiner out. And they'll probably have a few things to say to you and maybe give you your temporary license. your temporary CDL. Your permanent CDL, if you pass the exam, will be mailed to you. So that's what the road test looks like. Now let's proceed to watch the driving video of the road test route. So, that's all there is to it. I hope this helps you pass your road test. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Good luck!